1883 to 1963. One of the local druggists sent in a call, 550 Summer Street, second floor, the door to the left. It's a baby that they just brought in from the hospital. Pretty bad condition, I should imagine. You want to make it? I think they've had somebody else there that don't like him, he added as an afterthought. It's 12:30. I was just sitting down to lunch. Can't it wait until after office hours? Oh, I guess so. But they're foreigners, and you know how they are. Make it as soon as you can. I guess the baby's pretty bad. It was 2:30 when I got to the place, over a shop in a business part of town. One of those street doors between plate glass shop windows, a narrow entry with mashed mailboxes on one side and dark stair leading straight up. I'd been to the address a number of times during the past years to see various people who had lived there. Going up, I saw no bell, so I rapped vigorously on a wavy glass door panel to the left. I know that the door to the kitchen, which occupies the rear of the apartment. "Come in," said a loudish, childish voice. I opened the door and saw a lank-haired girl of about 15 standing chewing gum and eyeing me curiously from beside the kitchen table. The hair was coal black, and one of the eyelids drooped a little as she spoke. "Well, what do you want?" she said. Boy, she was tough, and there's no kidding, but I fell for her immediately. There was that hard, straight thing about her that in itself gives an impression of excellence. "I'm a doctor," I said. "Oh, I see that you're a doctor. The baby's inside." She looked at me. "Want to see her?" "Sure, that's what I came for. Where's your mother?" "She's out. I don't know when she's coming back. You can take a look at the baby if you want to." "All right, let's see her." She led the way into the bedroom toward the front of the flat, one of the unlit rooms, the only shadows being those in the kitchen and along the facade of the building. "There she is." I looked on the bed and saw a small face, emaciated but quiet, unnaturally quiet, sticking out of the upper end of the tight rolled bundle made by the rest of the baby encircled in a blue cotton blanket. The whole wasn't much larger than a good-sized leaf of rye bread. Hands and everything were rolled up. Just the yellowish face showed, tightly hatted and framed around by a corner of the blanket. "What's the matter with her?" I asked. "I don't know," said the girl, as fresh as paint and seeming about as indifferent as though it had been no relative of hers instead of her sister. I looked at my informer very much amused, and she looked back at me, chewing gum vigorously, standing there on her feet, well apart. She cocked her head from one side and gave it to me straight in the eye, as much as to say, "Well." I looked back at her. She had one of those small, squeezed-up faces, snub-nosed, overhanging eyebrows, low brow, and a terrible complexion, pimply and coarse. "When's your mother coming back, do you think?" I asked again. "Maybe an hour, but maybe you'd better come sometime when my father's here. He speaks English. He ought to come in around 5, I guess." "But you can't tell me something about the baby? I hear it's been sick. Does it have fever?" "I don't know." But it does have diarrhea." "Are its movements green?" "Sure," she said. "I guess so. It's been in the hospital, but it got worse, so my father brought it home today." What are they feeding it?" "A bottle. You can see that for yourself. There it is." There's a cold bottle of half-finished milk lying on the coverlet, and the nipple of it has fallen off behind the baby's head. "How old is she?" It's a girl, did you say? Yes, it's a girl. Your, your sister? Sure. You want to examine it? No thanks, I said. For the moment, at least, I had lost all interest in the baby. The young kid in charge of the house did something to me that I liked. She was just a child, but nobody was going to put anything over her, and she knew it. Yet the real thing about her was the complete lack of rotten smell of a liar. She wasn't in the least presumption, just straight. But after all, she wasn't such a child. She had breasts, that would be like small stones to the hand, good muscular arms and fine hard legs. Her bare feet were stuck with broken down leather sandals, such as you see worn by children at the beach in the summer. So she was heavily tanned too, whatever her skin showed. Just one of the kids you'll find loafing around the pools that they have outside towns and cities everywhere these days. Tough little nut finding her own way in the world. What's the matter with your legs? I asked. They were bare and covered with scabby sores. Poison ivy, she answered, pulling up her skirt and showing. Gee, but you ought to see it 2 days ago. This ain't nothing. You're a doctor. What can I do for it? Let me see, I said. She pulled up her leg to the chair. It had been badly bitten by mosquitoes, as I saw the thing, but she insisted on poison ivy. She had torn all the affected places with her fingernails, and that's what made it look so worse. Oh, it's not so bad, I said. If you'll only leave it alone and stop scratching it. Yeah, I know that, but I can't. Scratching's the only thing that makes it feel better. Well, what's that on your foot? Where? Looking. The big brown spot there on the back of your foot. Dirt, I guess. Her gum chewing never stopped, and her fixed, defensive, non-expressive expression never changed. Why don't you wash it? I do. Say, what could I do for my face? I looked at it closely. You have what they call acne, I told her. All those blackheads and pimples there, well, let's see. The first thing you ought to do, I suppose, is get some good soap. What kind of soap? Lifebuoy? No, I'd suggest one of those cases of Lux, not the flakes, but the cake. Yeah, I know, she said. 3 for $17. Use it every morning. Bathe your face in very hot water, until the skin is red from it. That's to bring the blood up to the skin. Then take a piece of ice. You have ice, haven't you? Sure, we have ice. Hold it against the face cloth, whatever you have, and rub it all over your face. Do that right after you've washed it in the very hot water before it's cooked. Rub the ice all over and do it every day for a month. Your skin will improve. If you like, you can take some cold cream once in a while, not much, just a little, and rub that in last of all. It makes if your face feels too dry. Will that help me? If you stick to it, it'll help you. All right. There's a lotion I could give you to use along with that. Remind me when I come back later. Why aren't you at school? I'm not going anymore. They can't make me, can they? They could try. How can they? I know a girl 13, and she doesn't go, and they can't make her either. Don't you want to learn things? I know enough already. Going to get a job? I got a job here. I've been helping the Jews across the hall. They give me $3.50 a week all summer. Good for you, I said. Think your father will be here around 5? I guess so. He ought to be. I'll come back then. Make it the same call. All right, she said, looking straight at me and chewing her gum all vigorously as ever. Just then a little blonde-haired thing about 7 came through the kitchen and walked to me curiously, looking at my satchel and then at the baby. "What are you, a doctor?" "See you later," I said to the older girl and went out. At 5:30, I once more climbed the wooden stairs after passing two women at the street entrance and looked me up and down from where they were leaning on the brick wall of the building talking. This time a woman's voice said, "Come in," when I knocked on the kitchen door. It was the mother. She was impressive, a bulky woman, growing toward 50 in a black dress with length of black growing hair and a long seamed face. She stood by the enameled kitchen table. A younger, plumpish woman with blonde hair, well cared for, in a neat house dress, as if she had dolled herself up for the occasion, was standing beside her. The small, blank child was there too, and the older girl beside beside the others, overshadowed by the mother. The two older women, at least, had a head taller than she. No one spoke. "Hello," I said to the girl I'd been talking to earlier. She didn't answer me. "Doctor," began the mother, "save my baby. She's very sick." The woman spoke with a thick, heavy voice and seemed overcome with grief and apprehension. "Doctor, doctor, she all but wept." "All right," I said to cut the woman short. "Let's take a look at her." So everybody headed to the front of the house, the mother in the lead. As they went, I lagged behind to speak to the second woman, the interpreter. "What happened?" The baby was not doing well, so they took her to the hospital to see if the doctor could help her. But it got worse, so the husband took her out this morning. "It looks bad to me." "Yes," said the mother, who overheard us. "Me got 7 children. 1 daughter married. This is my baby," pointing to the child on the bed, and she wiped her face with the back of her hand. "This baby no do good. Me almost crazy. Don't know who can help. What, doctor? I don't know. Somebody take me to the hospital. I think maybe do some good. 5 days she there. Cost me $2 every day, $10. I got no money. And when I see my baby, she's worse. She looks dead. I can't leave her there. No. I say to everybody, no. I take she home. Doctor, you save my baby. I pay you everything." Wait a minute, I said. Then I turned to the other woman. "What happened?" "The baby got diarrhea in the hospital, and she was all dirty, and when they went to see her, they all got excited. All sore behind," broke in the mother. The younger woman said a few words to her in some language that sounded like Russian, but it didn't snap her. No, I sent her to the hospital, and when I see my baby like that, I can't leave her there. My baby's no that way, never. No," she emphasized, "never. I take her home." "Take your time," I said. "Take off her clothes, everything off. This is a regular party, though it's warming up in here. Does she vomit?" "No, she eat." "How can she vomit?" "She no eat. How can she vomit?" said the mother. But the other woman contradicted her. "Yes, she was vomiting at the hospital," the nurse said. It happened that this September we had been having a lot of such cases in the hospital too, an infectious diarrhea, which practically all the children got when they came in for any cause. I suppose that this is what happened to the child. No doubt it had been in a bad way before, improper feeding, etc., and when they took her there for whatever it had been the matter with her, the diarrhea had developed. These things sometimes don't turn out well. Luckily, no doubt, they had brought it home when they did. I told them, explaining at the same time, one nurse for 10 or 20 babies, they do all they can, but you can't change the whole ward every 5 minutes. But the infant looked too lifeless for that only to be the matter with her. You want all clothes off? Asked the mother again, hesitating and trying to keep the body covered with cotton blanket on while undressing it. Everything off, I said. There it lay, just skin and bones with a round, fleshless head at the top, and the usual pot belly you usually find in such cases. Look, said Mother, tilting the infant over on its right side with her big hands so I might see the redness, reddish buttocks. What kind of nurse is that? My baby's never that way. Take your time, I told her. That's not bad. That it wasn't either. Any child with loose movements might have had the same half an hour after being cared for. Come on, move away, I said, and give me a chance. She kept hovering over the baby as if afraid I might expose it. It had no temperature, there was no rash, the mouth was reasonably good shape, eyes, ears negative. The moment I put my stethoscope to the little bony chest, however, the whole thing became clear. The infant had severe congestial heart defect. A roar when you listen to it over the heart that meant, to put it cruelly, that she was no good, never would be. The mother was watching me. I straightened up and looking at her, told her plainly, she's got a bad heart. That was a sign for tears. The big woman cried while she spoke. Doctor, she pleaded in a babbling anguish, save my baby. I'll help her, I said, but she's got a bad heart that will never be any better. But I knew perfectly well she wouldn't pay the least attention to what I say. I give you anything, she went on. I pay you $20. Doctor, you fix my baby. You good doctor, you fix. All right, I said. What are you feeding it? They told me it was a ridiculous formula, unboiled besides. I regulated it properly for them and told them how to proceed to make it up. Have you got enough bottles? Asked the young girl. Sure, we got bottles, she told me. Okay, I said, then go ahead. You think you cure her? The mother said with a long, careful face, so different from her tongue, from her tough female 15-year-old. You do what I tell you for 3 days, I said, and I'll come back and see how you're getting in. Thank you, doctor, so much. I pay you today, no money. I pay $10 to a hospital. They cheat me. I got no money. I pay you Friday when my husband gets paid. You save my baby. Boy, what a woman. I couldn't get away. She's my baby, doctor. I don't want to lose. Me got 7 children. Yes, you told me. But this is my baby, you understand. She's very sick. You good doctor. Oh my God, to get away from her, I turned to the kid. You better be going after more bottles before the store closes. I'll come back Friday morning. What about that stuff for my face you were going to give me? That's right. Wait a minute. I sat down on the edge of the bed to write out a prescription for some Lodio Alba comp, such as we use in acne. The 2 older women looked at me in astonishment, wondering, I suppose, how I knew the girl. I finished writing the thing and handed it to her. Stop on your face at bedtime, I said, and let it dry up. Don't let it get in your eyes. No, I won't. I'll see you in a couple of days, I said. Doctor, the old woman still asked me. You come back, I'll pay you, but all a time short. Always tomorrow, come milkman, must pay rent, must pay coal, and got no money. Too much work, too much wash, too much cook, nobody help. I don't know what matter. This door, doctor, this house makes sick. Do the best I can, I said as I was leaving. The girl followed down the stairs. How much is this going to cost? She asked shrewdly, holding the prescription. Not much, I said, and then started to think. Tell him you only got $50, and then tell him that I said, that's all it's worth. Is that right? She said. Absolutely. Don't pay a cent more for it. Say, you're all right. She looked at me approvingly. Have you got half a dollar? Sure, why not? What it's all about, my wife asked me in the evening. She hadn't heard about the case. Gee, I sure met a wonderful girl. I told her. What, another? Some tough baby. I'm crazy about her. Talk about straight stuff. And I recounted to her the sort of case it was and what I had done. The mother's an odd one, too. I don't quite make her out. Did they pay you? No, I don't suppose they have any cash. Going back? Sure, I have to. Well, I don't see why you have to do all this charity work now that a case you should report to the emergency relief. They'll get at least $2 a call from them. The father's got a job, I understand, and that counts me out. What sort of job? I don't know. Forgot to ask. What's the baby's name so I can put it in the book? Damn, I never thought to ask them that either. I think they must have told me, but I can't remember. Some kind of Russian name. You're the limit, dumbbell, she laughed. Honestly, who are they anyway? I don't know. I think it's about the family Kate was telling me about. Don't you remember the time the little kid was playing there one afternoon after school, fell down in front of the steps and knocked herself senseless? I don't recall. Sure you do. It's in the family, I get it now. Kate took the brat down there in a taxi and went up with her to see that everything was all right. Yep, that's it. The old woman took the older kid by the hair because she hadn't watched her sister. And what a beating she gave her. Don't you remember Kate telling me afterward she thought the old woman was going to murder the child? She screamed and threw her around, so same old gal. You can see that they're all afraid of her. What a world. I suppose that damn brat drive her cuckoo, but boy, how she clings to that lady. The last hope, I suppose, said my wife. Yeah, and the worst of it to be in the lot. There's a break for you. She'll love it just the same. More, usually. 3 days later, I called back to the flat again. This time, a resonant male voice. I entered, keenly interested. By the same kitchen table stood a short, thickish man in baggy working clothes and a heavy cotton undershirt. He seemed to have the stability of a cube placed in one of the facets, a smooth, highly colored Slavic face, long black mustaches, and widely separated, perfectly candid blue eyes. His black hair, glossy and profuse, stood out carelessly all over his large, round head. By his look, he reminded me at once of his blonde-haired daughter, absolutely unruffled, the shoulders of an ox. You, the doctor, he said, come in. The girl and the small child were beside him. The mother was in the bedroom. The baby was no better. Won't eat, said the man in an answer to my first question. How are the bowels? Not so bad. Does she vomit? No. Then it's better, I suggested. But this time the mother had heard us talking and came in. She seemed worse than the last time, absolutely inconsolable. Doctor, she came up to me. Somehow irritated, I put her aside and went to the baby. Of course it was better, much better, so I told him. But the heart naturally was the same. How her heart? The mother pressed eagerly. Today, a little better. I started to explain things to the man who was standing back, giving her wife precedence, but soon she got the drift of what I was saying and was all over me again with tears beginning to pour. There was no use talking, doctor. You, you good doctor. You do something to fix my baby. And before I could move, she took my left hand and both of hers and kissed it through her tears. As she did so, I realized finally that she had been drinking. I turned towards the man, looking to a good bit like the sun at noonday, a little indifferent. Then back to the woman, I felt deeply sorry for her. Then, not knowing why I said nor of whom precisely I was speaking, I felt myself choking inwardly with the words, hell, God damn it, the sons of bitches, why do these things have to be? The next morning, as I came to the coat room at the hospital, there were several visiting staff there with their cigarettes talking. A hunting dog belonging to one of the doctors who came down with temper and seemed likely to die. I called up a dozen vets around here, and one of them was saying, I even called up the one in your town. He added, turning to me as I came in, and do you know how much they wanted to charge me for giving the serum to the animal? Nobody answered. They had the nerve to charge me $5 a shot for it. Can you beat that? $5 a shot. Did you give him the job? Someone spoke up facetiously. Did I? I should say I did not, the first answered, but you couldn't beat that. Why? We're nothing but a lot of slop heels compared to those guys. We deserve to starve. Get it out of them, someone rasped, kidding. That's the stuff. Then the original speaker went on, but holding me as some of the others faded from the room. Have you ever seen a precise practice so rotten? By the way, I called on to your town almost a week ago to see the kid I delivered up there during the summer. Do you know anything about the case? I probably got them in my list, I said. Russians? Yeah, I thought as much. Has a job as a road worker or something, so they say they couldn't pay me. Well, I took the trouble of going up to your courthouse and finding out what he was getting, $18 a week, just a type. And they had the nerve to tell me they couldn't pay me. She told me 10. She's a liar. Natural maternal instinct, I guess. Whiskey appetite, if you ask me. Same thing. Okay, buddy. Only I'm telling you, and did I tell them? They'll never call me down there again, believe me. I had that much satisfaction in other anyway. You make them pay now, don't you do anything for them unless they do. He's paid the county, by the county. I tell you, if I had taxes to pay down there, I'd go and take it out of his salary. You and how many others? Say, they're bad actors, that crew. Did you know that they really you know what they really do with their money? Whiskey. Now I'm telling you, that old woman's the slickest customer you ever saw. She'll drink all the time. Didn't you notice it? Not while I was there. Didn't you let them put it in that sympathy old game over on you? Why, they tell me she leaves that baby lying in the bed all day long, screaming her lungs out until the neighbors complain to the police about it. I'm not lying to you. Yeah, the old skate's got nerve. You can see that. I can imagine she's a booger when she gets going. But about that young girl, I asked weakly. She seems like a pretty straight kid. My comforter let out a wild howl. That thing? You mean that pimple-faced little bitch? Say, if I had my way, I'd run her out of town tomorrow. She's about a dozen wise guys on her trail every night of the week. Ask the cops. Just ask them. They know, only nobody wants to bring her in a complaint. They'll say you'll stumble over her on the roof behind the stairs any time all day. Boy, they sure took you in. Yes, I suppose they did, I said. But the old woman's the ringleader. She's got the brains. Take my advice and make them pay. The last time I went there, they come in on the front door of the house. The 15-year-old was in there and the window was rocking the chair while the tightly wrapped baby in her arms. She got up, her legs were bare to the hips. A powerful little animal. What are you doing? Going swimming, I asked. No, that's my gym suit. What the kids wear for physical training in school. How's the baby? She's all right. Did you mean it? Sure. She eats fine now. Tell your mother to bring it to the office someday and I can weigh it. The food needs increasing in another week or two. Anyway, I'll tell her. How's your face? Getting better. My God, it is, I said. And it was much better. Going back to school now? Yeah, I had to.
Wow.
The end.